Okay, so yo, what is up? What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. So today I'm going to be teaching you how to get sucked into a portal. So you're probably wondering how you can do this, so let's get right into the video. So the first thing you're going to need is a clip of you, maybe by a TV or something where you can add a portal onto. And what you want to do is film a shot of you standing there, and then at the end of that clip you want to sort of jump or make a jolt movement towards the TV, and then walk out of the scene and just leave it recording for 5 to 10, maybe even 15 seconds. So you've got a little bit more time to play with. So once you've done that, drag the clips into Premiere, play around with them a little bit so you get the timing and cut right. And what I like to do is I like to highlight both of these clips, hit Option, drag this up, highlight these again, right click and click on replace with After Effects composition. So before we hop into After Effects, I just want to adjust this. So I'm going to leave a link in the description where you can download a few of these different sort of like portal effects. So what you basically want to do is just adjust this so it kind of pops out a little bit faster, and to do that we're just going to add a speed ramp. So firstly, find a good point where you can sort of cut it and it still has a shape to it. So if you hit C on the keyboard, cut this right here, hit V again, and then just delete the other side. So if we just make this a little bit bigger right here, we're going to add a speed ramp to this. So as you can see right here, it says FX, right click on that, time remapping, and click on speed. So what you want to do is you want to speed this up to where the portal's fully open. So I'd say around about here. Hit P on the keyboard for the pen tool, select this right here, and if you hit V again, we can now adjust this right here. So I'm just going to speed ramp this to maybe around 300, and right here where the keyframe is, you can drag this out and smooth it a little bit. So once you've done that, what you want to do is maybe cut it around about here. So click on the clip, hit Option, drag it just next to it, right click on this, speed duration, and hit reverse clip. So now you're going to get this sort of in and out effect. So now that we've done that, just drag that above here so it just sort of lines up. It doesn't really matter where it is at the moment. Highlight all of these clips right here, right click and click on replace with After Effects composition. So the first thing you want to do once you get into After Effects is highlight both of these portal clips, right click and hit on pre-compose, and make sure you move all attributes to the new composition, hit OK, and then come to the mode tools right here. If you don't have that, right click, click columns, and it's just a little thing right here that says modes. Select where it says normal and change it to lighten, which will give you this little effect right here. As you can see, it gets rid of all the black. So another thing, when you pre-compose it, it makes this clip the same length for the timeline. What I'm going to do is hit Control, Shift and D just to cut that clip from where it starts. And if we go to the end of the clip where it finishes, hit Command, Shift and D again just to cut the end of that off. We don't need all of that right there. So what you want to do is you want to attach this portal to the TV so it sort of looks like it's coming out the TV. So what you want to do is come over to the Effects and Presets tab just over here and search for corner pin. So select corner pin and drag that to the clip, and then you can basically just drag these corners to sort of warp it and make it look more like it's on the TV. So drag each one of these corners to the TV so it actually looks like it's on the TV. Drag that to that corner and this one to this corner. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to scale this up. So select the clip, hit S, and you can just make this bigger. So as you can see, it opens up and it looks like it's actually on the TV right there. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a black hole into the middle of this portal. The best way to do that is to select this, select rectangle, and just make a rectangle across basically the whole page. What I'm going to quickly do is turn the opacity down to just so I can see through it, see where the TV is. And if we come back here and search for the corner pin tool, select that and drag that onto the shape layer, and then just drag the shape layer to the TV so it again looks like it's actually on the TV. So what you can now do is you can now turn the opacity back to 100%. So select the pen tool up here and then draw a circle shape inside of the rectangle. So as you can see, we've got something that looks a little bit like that. Hasn't got to be a perfect circle, it doesn't matter too much. So select the shape layer and hit F for the feather button, and what you can do is you can just feather it out so it looks good. So as well as feather, you've got the mask expansion, and you can make that bigger or you can make it smaller. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger and then tone up the feather a little bit more. Another thing I'm going to do is the opacity. So if we just turn the opacity down a little bit, something a little bit like that will do, is you want to keyframe the opacity. So at the first frame you want to have it set to 0, and I'd say once it's around full size, have it set to 100%. So I'd say around there, let's set that to 100%, keep going. And then same at the end of the clip, once it starts shrinking, hit that keyframe button right there, go forward to the end of it, and put the opacity back down to 0. So now that bit's done, make sure these two clips stay together. So what you can now do is work on cutting yourself out and getting sucked into the portal. So what you want to do is you want to find a good point to cut yourself out where you're going to get sucked into the portal. So if we come along, and I'm going to say probably around here, it's quite a good point because I can move my body around quite a lot with the pivot tool, which I'll explain a little bit later. So if we just copy this clip right here, so that would be Command C and then Command V, copy that, come to this frame right here and right click, come up to where it says time right here, and then hit freeze frame. So what you want to do with this is select this, come to the pen tool right here, and then you basically just want to cut yourself out. And again, this doesn't have to be perfect. It is going to look a little bit better if you do spend a bit more time on it. For this tutorial, I'm just going to flick through and cut myself out right here. So what you want to do is come to the clip below the clip you just cut out, drag that to the frame that you cut out. What I'm going to do with the frame that I cut out is hit F and then just feather it a little bit, just to make it look a little bit nicer. But if you want it to look the best, and then do go through and take your time when you're cutting yourself out, it will look better. So now what you want to do is with your blank clip of just whatever it was you were filming, drag that underneath what you just cut out. So as you can see, the only thing that really disappears is my shadow. That is something you can fix, but you don't really notice it once you've added all the effects on. So now what you want to do is line up the portal to where you're sort of jumping into it. So let's select them two clips again, drag them across, and find a good place for me to get sucked in. And up here there is a tool called the puppet position tool. Select that and make a few points around your body. So I'm going to select one right here, one by my arm, one in the middle of my body, one by my knees, and one by my feet. You can also add one to your arm as well. So as you can see right now, I can just move my arm around, make it basically go wherever I want it to. I can make it go back over here. I can move my shoulders. I can move my head to wherever I want. So you can sort of give it that really mad sort of warp effect. Make sure you have the puppet tool selected, and you want to start sort of making your body go into this portal. So select this first one and just move it a little bit, make your body warp a little bit. So just like this, maybe stretch it out a little bit. And then come to the next frame, and obviously it's going to be reset, but just pull your body more towards this portal. And obviously after this, what we're going to be doing is adding some motion blur so you don't see, it looks a little bit more realistic. You can get really creative with this and do lots of different stuff, make it look really cool, but I'm just going to go through the basic way for now. So now once you've messed around with that a little bit, as you can see, you should have something that looks a little bit like this. Don't make it too quick, but don't make it too short. Like this, drag the layer where you've been cut out and just drag it above both of the portal clips, just like that. So as you can see, we get sucked in just like that. So what you want to do to make this look a little bit more realistic is hit right click, hit new, and then add an adjustment layer to this. So once you've done that, come over here to the effects and presets, search for CC Force Motion Blur. Drag that onto the adjustment layer, and then you can mess around with this. Normally it looks pretty good, just straight off standard. So where it says 8 right here, I'm just going to boost that a little bit more, and then where it says 180, I'm going to boost that a bit more as well to maybe like 220. Just mess around with it, you know, till it looks pretty good. So what I'm going to do to sort of hide some of the mistakes you might see or anything like that, and just to make it look a little bit better, So I do have an effects pack called Hanley Seamless, and it is a paid plugin, but obviously I'm just using this as an example. You can get the things you need to do this for free. Just have a quick search on YouTube and just look for some shake effects for After Effects or Premiere Pro, either one, it doesn't quite matter. So what you can actually do as you're getting sucked into the portal, you can add a little shake effect just to give it a little bit more motion blur and hide some of the things that don't look quite right. Okay, so now we're back in Premiere. As you can see, I've nested the clip right here. What you can now do is I will leave a link in the description to some YouTube videos where you can get some of the effects I have or some of the effects that you might need for this video. And then you can go download it from there. I'm sure they're really easy to install. So for the last thing, I'm just going to add this handheld effect to make it look a little bit less of a static shot. And I'm using a wide lens, so I'm going to do wide with smooth motion. Drag that on. And your final outcome should look a little bit like this. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button, comment down below, subscribe if you're new, and yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.